Nancy, is something wrong?
On a cold day when Christmas songs could be heard throughout the city, I stopped to admire a tree ornament. My husband, a few steps ahead, noticed and turned back, tilting his head in curiosity. His ears, reddened by the cold, peeked out from beneath his warm smile. I found his appearance endearingly sweet. No, nothing's wrong. Let's head home and have dinner. It's especially chilly today, so I've prepared a hot, delicious gratin.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Laughing together, we held hands and began walking back home. Suddenly, a familiar Christmas song began to play somewhere nearby. I'm Nancy. What I'm about to share is a slightly magical Christmas miracle I experienced a few years ago and the story leading up to it.
You're late.
Greeted, not with a welcome but a shout, I stood confused.
Where have you been?
Just the nearest grocery store. It was mid-December. I had just been yelled at and sent out of the house without even a coat in the biting cold.
What? Are you mocking me? I'm the breadwinner. When I come home from work, I expect a proper meal. Can't you even do that simple thing?
My husband was furiously yelling at the dinner I had prepared.
No nuts? Seriously, how can you look so nonchalant about it? A salad without nuts is unthinkable. Are you kidding me?
He had yelled at me for this, so I grabbed my wallet and ran to the grocery store, hurrying back. But my panting only made him more irate.
What, the grocery store? Are you out of your mind? Which is cheaper, that or the supermarket?
He pointed at the nuts I had just bought, his face a mix of disbelief and annoyance.
Have you lost your sense of money?
I couldn't hold back any longer and retorted, I always shop at the regular supermarket, but it's far and I forgot the nuts this time. You'd be angry if the soup got cold, so I went to the nearest grocery store. Sure, I forgot to put nuts on the shopping list, and I personally think a salad without nuts is fine. I don't understand why he has to be so angry. But my husband's anger didn't subside at all.
Are you kidding me? Not even going to apologize?
I did apologize earlier, didn't I?
What's that attitude? You always...
My retort only fueled his anger further, and for nearly an hour he continued to vent his frustrations at me. Finally, he snapped.
How can I eat this cold stuff?
He flipped the salad plate and stormed out to eat elsewhere. A few days later, I was cleaning the yard of my childhood home, which was for sale, and decided to visit the neighborhood grandma. Hey, Grandma, your revelation, it's the first time it didn't come true. I never did any revelation. Grandma, who had adored me since I was little, smiled ambiguously. What? Everything you said since I was a kid came true. If it wasn't revelation, then... a prophecy? I chuckled wryly. Remember when you told me not to go shopping downtown today? Lightning struck the store I was going to and it caught fire. And when I wanted to laze at home and play games the day before a day off, you advised me to go out because it would be sunny. I reluctantly went, and when I returned, there had been a burglar at home. If I had been there, I would have encountered the burglar. Thinking back, it still scares me. The burglar, later caught elsewhere, had a knife. The thought of what could have happened frightens me. Grandma had accurately predicted many things, like a real prophet. Hey, Grandma? Even when I tried to dismiss it as coincidence or imagination, Grandma listened quietly as my voice faltered. Mom was a single mother. Wouldn't have been prepared for her illness if you hadn't predicted it. She said, Grandma made a revelation. Nancy will have something incredibly joyous happen this Christmas. It comforted her, knowing her daughter would have a future filled with smiles. Grandma's revelation in the hospital had been a beacon of hope for Mom, and a testament to her love for me. So when John proposed to me on Christmas, I thought this was the revelation. John, whom I met through an acquaintance, seemed humble and kind, but after marriage, he became domineering and, like the recent nut incident, got angry on trivial things. complaining the meal was too cold or the fruit too warm, despite being the one ignoring the food for his phone. I felt suffocated, constantly criticized for everything I did, be it cooking, cleaning, or laundry. I don't want to go home to him, I murmured, fighting back tears. But then, isn't it getting late? Don't you have dinner to prepare? Grandma looked at the sky, urging me, heavy-hearted, to get going. I felt gently rejected and slowly stood up. It's okay. If you stand firm on your own feet, you will face many hardships. But you'll find happiness. A truly joyous Christmas is coming. Live upright and true. God is watching. I turned quickly at the words whispered to my bowed head. Is that a revelation? Who knows? I'm just Grandma. She dodged the question with an ambiguous smile. All right, I understand. If I try hard, John will change, right? Maybe it's too early to consider the revelation wrong. I decided to switch gears and keep trying. Yet,
Dinner, bath towel, iron shirt?
My husband's attitude worsened at an accelerating pace. Not even a year into our marriage, he began to command me, as if it were natural, devoid of any kind words, always irritable and domineering.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, what happened? One night again, he was angry.
You don't greet me when I come home tired from work and instead wander around until this hour, and now you want me to microwave the meal? Don't joke with me.
Feeling the pressure, I sighed. I told you, didn't I? I had a neighborhood festival planning meeting today. I even wrote it in a memo.
Shut up. You think that's an excuse to serve me a half-hearted meal?
How half-hearted? It's all homemade. The same number of dishes as usual.
If it's not fresh, it's half-hearted.
His claims were unreasonable.
The most important thing for you should be me, the one providing for you. You're my wife. Obey my orders.
Such a thing? His words left me speechless.
Without parents or relatives, you wouldn't survive if abandoned. A woman like you should just worship me silently. If you resist, it's divorce.
He sneered at me, seemingly revealing his stress by subjugating me.
But the bath towel?
I wanted to scream, I can't stand this anymore. But that would worsen his mood. That night, amidst the snow and rain, with nowhere to go, I reluctantly prepared the bath towel for him. After days like this, I collapsed from severe abdominal pain while shopping at the supermarket and was rushed to the hospital by ambulance. Hearing the doctor's explanation, my vision blurred.
The disease is transmitted to sexual contact. Both you and your husband need treatment. You didn't notice it because there were no symptoms. Given the progression, surgery is necessary, and unfortunately, it's very unlikely that you will be able to have children in the future.
The doctor, compassionate yet direct, left and my husband hurried after him.
Can't have a baby?
Repeating the harsh reality, I felt despair. I need to hear more from the doctor. With unsteady legs, I followed the doctor and my husband. Doctor? John? But what I overheard stopped me cold.
So everyone I've been involved with needs to be tested? Yes. Without simultaneous treatment, the infection will just recur. Will they know what the test is for? Yes.
He was quick to seek treatment for himself, but not a word of concern for me. And my baby? For me, an orphan, a new family was a cherished dream. A husband, children, a happy home filled with laughter. Tears fell heavily onto the smiling photo of my mother. I clutched in my hands. Mom? Unable to hold back, my voice broke through, mingled with tears, as I covered my mouth. Then,
what are you lazing around for? You haven't prepared dinner or a shower. Leaving me, the breadwinner of this family, neglected while you wallow in sadness? Here's your punishment, a divorce application. My husband stormed in noisily and thrust a divorce application at me, sitting dejectedly. Annoying? Fine, I can divorce any time. You'll be the one in trouble if you don't want to be divorced. Stop lazing around and get moving.
I am not lazing around.
Oh, there's another punishment. I won't give you this month's living expenses.
He leered at me with a nasty smile, seemingly pleased.
An opportunity for you, who depends on me, to change your attitude. Know your place. If you resist, it's divorce.
Having said his piece, he left the room, seemingly refreshed. Divorce, huh? Looking at the form with my husband's name on it, I felt a sense of calm. Mom, I have decided. I wiped the water droplets from the photo frame and spoke to my smiling mother, watch over me. For a while, I continued living in silence with my husband. He treated me like a servant, erupting in anger depending on his mood, while I spent my days quietly but firmly resisting. Then,
that's what I'm saying. Lukewarm fruit is inedible and cold soup is out of the question. When will you ever get it right?
It started again. Internally sighing, I decided to put my long-considered plan into action. Divorce if I resist, right?
That's all you remembered? Reflect on your foolishness if you don't want to be divorced by me.
He laughed through his nose, acting superior. You're not very bright, are you?
Huh?
My response seemed to confuse him.
What did you just say?
Facing my bewildered husband, I confronted him. The same thing over and over. Ever heard of vocabulary? All you have is divorce, divorce. Is that the only word in your limited vocabulary?
You?
Fine. Let's divorce. I'll grant your wish and become a stranger to you.
Huh?
Caught off guard, he forgot to get angry. I smiled and said my goodbyes. I have already moved out my important things. Feel free to throw away what's left. Goodbye. I took off the apron I bought when we got married, folded it neatly, placed it before him with the house keys on top, and left with my suitcase.
What the hell?
I heard my now bewildered husband, but I didn't care. Now, that's refreshing. I walked lightly back to my childhood home, ignoring his bothersome voice. A month later, the divorce finalized, but my ex-husband's messages kept coming.
Reflected yet? I'll forgive you if you apologize. As a wife,
I ignored the barrage of messages I had never experienced during our marriage, silencing the notification. But his persistence led me to meet him one last time at his parents' house.
Why are you ignoring me?
Perhaps avoiding harsh words due to his parents' presence, my ex-husband spoke with a facade of civility.
You never replied to my messages.
Oh, those? Turned off the notifications.
Huh?
Too persistent.
I am persistent?
Yes. So, what do you want with a stranger?
You...
As I replied nonchalantly, his face gradually reddened with anger.
What's that attitude? My parents are here. What do you mean by... Oh, sorry.
Finally, he raised his voice, but noticing his parents' disapproving looks, he apologized for the first time in our marriage. I managed to suppress my urge to mock him as he apologized. Wow, you can apologize? That's amazing. Continuing the conversation, I asked, so what do you want with your ex-wife after the divorce? Despite the presence of his parents, my ex-husband seemed puzzled by my relaxed demeanor, but got to the point.
Hold on. Aren't you suffering after divorcing me? How are you managing to live now?
He feigned concern despite never once visiting my family home.
I'm saying if you want, we can reconcile. You must be happy, right?
As if? What's he thinking? I nearly burst out laughing. I am neither happy nor struggling. I earn enough for myself, plus the living allowance you give was just $250 a month, remember? It was never enough to sustain life. Actually, I think you're the one struggling without someone to do the housework. I have been much more comfortable since I became single. Reconciling makes no sense to me. My response visibly rattled him.
Huh? But you were supposed to be a housewife. I mean, discussing such precise amounts isn't appropriate here, right?
My ex-husband stammered, constantly glancing at his parents. John, you're not a little boy caught doing mischief. Calm down. And no use pretending. I know all your secrets.
What?
I silenced him by revealing my secrets. You're mistaken. I was never just a housewife, remember? I told you about living abroad as a child due to Dad's job. I used my Spanish skills from that time to work as a translator from home. There were plenty of resources on the bookshelf.
Huh? But those foreign language books?
They were original manuscripts and resources for translation. You never touched them because you couldn't read them. Thankfully, you never found the recording equipment either.
Huh?
He gasped at the mention of recording. His father, who had discovered the truth, presented the physical evidence. See, they already know how you treated me. Your parents apologized, crying. They said they were sorry for raising a son who could do such terrible things. As he tried to escape the awkwardness, his mother made him sit back down. I then pulled out a document I had prepared. This is the copy of the divorce application I filed. I made sure the part with a sticky note was visible to my ex-husband.
What?
You know about this, right?
No way!
His trembling was understandable. I was pointing to the witness section where a name well known to my ex-husband was written. There weren't enough spaces in the form, were there? After all, you had more than 2 affairs, right?
Wait a minute.
No way I'm waiting. Before I could strike the final blow, a resentful voice spoke up. John, you hid the disease from us, didn't you? And all of us were only involved with you, which means you brought it from somewhere else, right?
Oh, no.
And what do you mean I was just an affair? You said we would get married someday. That's something only a single man should say.
Ugh.
We saw how you treated your wife, not just us. You're a woman's enemy, humanity's enemy, the worst kind of person.
Ugh.
Surrounded by the woman he had affairs with, my ex-husband was paralyzed with shock. His parents sighed deeply at their son's actions. Yes, I had secretly contacted my ex-husband's mistresses, whom I discovered through a private investigator. I spilled everything to his parents, and that led to this moment. Just give up.
Oh my God.
Following a strong request from his parents saying their son needed to reflect, the mistresses and I demanded compensation from him. Moreover, his employer, a friend of my ex-mother-in-law, arranged for the payments to be deducted from his salary, ensuring he couldn't escape. Forcibly returned to his parents' home, my ex-husband, under their strict supervision, would be burdened with paying compensation for a long time. 6 years later.
Nancy, is something wrong?
It was a cold day with Christmas songs playing all around town. When I stopped to admire a tree decoration, my husband, who had walked ahead, turned back and tilted his head, his ears red from the cold. Our young daughter, held in his arm, also had rosy cheeks. Oh, how adorable, I thought, cherishing them deeply. Grandma's revelation was really something, I murmured softly. My current husband is actually the brother of one of my ex-husband's mistresses. We got along strangely well with those women and kept in touch. He was the one who comforted me when I was down. It's a truly bizarre story. If I hadn't married my ex-husband, I probably would never have met my current husband. It seems that hardships do lead to happiness, just as Grandma's revelation said. Moreover, after getting together with him, we even had a baby, despite being told it was highly unlikely. I remember being informed of my pregnancy at the emergency hospital one Christmas when I felt ill. My husband and I jumped for joy. And the nurse, although pleased, chided us to keep calm because of my condition. It's a real Christmas miracle. I think about this deeply every season. Despite being hurt a lot because of my ex-husband, now I am this happy. Mom! Pulled from my thoughts by my daughter, who left my husband's arms to cling to me, I returned to the present. It's nothing. Let's head home and have dinner. It's particularly cold, so I've prepared a delicious hot gratin.
Oh, can't wait.
Yay! Laughing together, the three of us held hands and walked back home. Somewhere nearby, a familiar Christmas song started playing again.